Welcome everybody to this Unitarian Universalist Coastside Community Sunday service and Feliz Dia de los Muertos. Our team of memorable worship associates today include Marina Bill Hedlund, Tom Devine, and myself, Laurel Frischman. We are your still alive and very grateful worship associates. You are welcome here every week, of course, every month. If you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you have been here forever, welcome. Unitarian Universalism stands among the liberal faith traditions of this nation. Here we honor acts of compassion. Together we seek to advance justice and make the world a better place. Like all Unitarian Universalist congregations, we support LGBTQ rights, civil rights, human rights, affordable housing, climate justice, constitutional democracy, and vaccine wisdom. This November's theme is remembrance. Today we warmly welcome back to the UU Coastside pulpit Reverend Russ Menk. He discusses the ancient traditions of various cultures that commemorate the end of the harvest season, the start of dark days, and the remembrance of the deceased, all in a sermon called Dia de los Muertos, Samhain, and All Hallows Eve. We will be incorporating a remembrance ritual today, inspired by Dia de los Muertos. Many of the Mexican ofrendas on the altar are from Berna Barriento's personal collection, and she was instrumental in helping us organize this service. So thank you to Berna. Many of you today have brought pictures and other mementos of loved ones to both remember those who have passed on and to celebrate their lives. So now, with pleasure, I introduce our speaker today. Reverend Russ has been a Unitarian Universalist for about 25 years. He retired from the UU Fellowship of Santa Cruz County in 2023 after serving there as senior minister for 10 years. Russ has lived in Santa Cruz since 2010. His family consists of his wife, what is your wife's name? Jackie. And they've been married for 52 years. Two 10-pound dogs, two 10-pound dogs over here, and one 17-pound cat over here. Okay. They have no children. He grew up in Texas, lived 30-plus years in Salt Lake City, where he discovered UUism, and has lived in California for the past 17 years. He worked as an aerospace engineering manager in Utah for 30 years before moving to California to attend seminary. Reverend Russ currently serves on the UUA's Pacific Western Region Board and enjoys pretty much every day. Welcome, Russ.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the UUCC. I'm Russ Menk, as you've heard, your guest minister for today. And I know that this congregation is filled with people who hold a wide variety of diverse theological beliefs. But what we have in common is that we all live in three worlds: past, present, and future. Now, if you're alive, you know the present's a pretty scary place, filled to the brim with uncertainty. The present for me is overwhelming with our political turmoil, which has turned from governance into destructive battle between the two parties. We see the fires of division fueled by fear and fanned by hate, rising up, manifesting in deeply disturbing ways. Instead of discussion, we now argue and become belligerent over issues and even words. We're fighting over words and what they represent to opposing viewpoints: nationalist, globalist, Republican, Democrat, red, blue, gerrymandering, gender at birth, pro-choice, pro-life, illegal people, tariffs. These concepts and topics, which were formerly discussed, have now become swords and spears with which to do battle. And if the present determine the future, then what are our children going to inherit? But today, we're not going to look forward, and we won't focus on the present. We will look backwards to our ancestors and those who have lived and died among us. We will look backwards, and we will honor the dead and the meaning of death. And maybe we can remember some of the lessons the now dead have taught us. Maybe we can see how we were shaped by their words, their thoughts, and their actions. Maybe we can find meaning in our own life from who they were. Reverend Dr. Barbara Conian writes, quote, "We come to church for many reasons. We are drawn to exploring life's mysteries, why we were born, what do we do with this precious process called life, what is death about? Our liberal faith provides many doors through which we can welcome those who came before us, many rituals that can take us into the borderline spaces where the living and dead meet. May we all remember to risk visiting the borderlands. And when we come back, may we return with new insight into this process of living and dying." If you are willing to explore life's mysteries, you are welcome here. If you are willing to walk the borderland spaces where the mystery lies, you are welcome here. If you are overwhelmed with living but afraid of dying, you are welcome here. Let us open our worship in song. Tom, will you lead us in our opening hymn?
Our opening hymn is number 352, "Find the Stillness." And it's a lovely, and this is very appropriate, Transylvanian folk melody. And Carl Seberg wrote the lyrics. The hymn's an invitation to turn inward to discover a profound source of inner harmony. Find the stillness, hold the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, wash me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true. Thank you for singing, and now Noreen will lead us in our chalice light.
Welcome, everyone. Now it is time to light the chalice. This is a ritual that unites us as Unitarian Universalists. Indeed, it grew from the World War II era, symbolizing the compassion Unitarians extended to asylum-seeking refugees. And due to fire regulations, this particular chalice glows from battery power. So these particular words are by Florence Kaplow. The title is All Souls Chalice Lighting. Please join me in reading these words aloud. As we kindle this the flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision, their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us.
If you're lucky, you get to grow old. But with growing old, you begin to know people who die before you do, and that's just a burden we carry. This time of year brings reflections of changing seasons and remembering the dead. All Hallows Eve, All Souls Day, All Saints Day, Dia de los Muertos, Remembrance Day. These events and rituals, they span across the world, cultures, and religions. For some Catholic churches, the celebration doesn't stop after one day on October 31st. It actually begins a multi-day observance and celebration of All Hallowtide. The combination of All Hallows Eve, All Saints' Day, and All Souls' Day. All Hallowtide was established by Pope Sixtus IV in 1430 for the whole Western Church. And also, a number of East and Southeast Asian cultures celebrate festivals around the harvest moon, usually in October-ish, and that's among some of their important days. I had my first Chinese mooncake in 2009, and it's still tradition for me to go into San Francisco and get those wonderful treats. But why do so many cultures have rituals and celebrations this time of year? Why do most of them reflect on our own mortality and a connection to the divine? Is it coincidence? Or could it be the diversity of cultures all move to a deeply innate, ancient human synchronicity with the yearly seasonal cycles? Can it be that as the seasons change toward winter in the Northern Hemisphere, we are reminded of our own mortality? Is this the season of deep reflection? Is this in our DNA? This is the season of endings, with a nod toward rebirth and the next beginning. This is the season of remembering that those who we loved, who have died, and remembering that someday too we will pass. Death and dying must be a major factor in our understanding of living. Because both life and death are aspects of a greater mystery, the mystery of being, the mystery of creation. But the focus of this season and all our celebration is not about your mortality. This is the season of remembering those who have passed, those loved ones, our friends, whom we remember, even though they're no longer physically present with us. Our remembering is not limited to acknowledging our losses, but this season can be a celebration of the gains. What did we learn from those who have departed? What can the dead teach us? What can your loss of a physical connection to a loved one teach you? I believe we have two kinds of families, those of blood and those of choice. We don't get to choose our family of blood because it's determined by the gene pool from which you came. But we have this great opportunity and a blessing to be around people we choose to be with. And those relationships of choice can deepen and become even stronger and more binding than any link of blood or heredity, creating a powerful family of choice. And a family of choice is not limited to human life forms. A family of choice can include fur and feathered creatures. Our family ought to support us and guide us in a meaningful way. A family of blood sometimes does that, and sometimes fails us. A family of choice can expand our support network and help us through this life. But family members, be they human or not, don't live forever. People die. Pets die. Loved ones die. Family members die. And it is our great life sadness that people around us die. What does their death mean? What do I do when they're gone? How do I go on when I expected them to be there? But they are here. Not physically, but in your hearts. They're still here. At this darkening time of year, it is natural that our thoughts turn to the past, to life retreating, to those who are no longer with us. Summer ends. Autumn slides into winter. Images come to our mind. The of dear companions who once graced our lives, loved ones we miss so much, persons whose life made a positive impact on our life, and all those who were here contributing, caring, and they're now gone. Just like summer fruits and deciduous leaves are ending, we think about people who've died and have gone out of this physical world. Our memories bring both joy and sadness. Let us not push those feelings away. For our recollections attest to the enduring importance of those friends, the loved ones, the love given, the love received, our memories. I believe that death and distance are powerless to sever the bonds that connect truly loving hearts. I believe that love is not limited by time, distance, nor death. And I believe that if we remember the dead, if we recall their names, if we acknowledge the impact on our lives, then maybe they're not dead. Maybe they're not gone. They're not gone because they're in our heart. They're still in our mind. You can still love them. I'll close before our ritual with this prayer from the Reverend Christine Robinson, colleague. She writes, Spirit of life, who we know the best in our own loving and being loved, hold us as we remember those we have loved and those who have loved us. May our gratitude sparkle in our lives. May our tears lubricate our souls. Help us to know that we are not alone in this grieving, and help us to also come to that peaceful place in which we can take what we learned from those who have gone before us into our own lives. Remind us, too, that we, too, are mortal, and that this only enduring legacy that we'll leave is the love that shines through our lives. And now we'll come to the remembrance ritual of this service. Noreen has handed out, or is handing out, little pictures of leaves and a pen if you need one. And what we invite you to do is write the name of your beloved past, someone who's affected you, may not be with us anymore, human or non-human. And I put mine on the back. You're welcome to put yours anywhere you want. And then in a few moments, we'll line up and put our leaves on the altar and turn on an electric candle as a reference. We carefully draw from a wide range of traditions in Unitarian Universalism, and today we are honoring the Mexican tradition of Dia de los Muertos, which emphasizes universal theme of remembering, celebrating life, and the enduring power of love that unites the living and the dead. The idea behind Dia de los Muertos is, for a brief period of time, the souls departed come back to earth to spend time with their loved ones. The origins of Dia de los Muertos trace back to the ancient Mexican indigenous rituals, those of the Aztecs who recognized death as a natural part of life. In the 16th century, it became a Catholic holiday. I remember, I traveled to Mexico quite a bit in the 1980s and didn't know about Dia de los Muertos, but around the Oaxacan area, Oaxaca's a state in kind of the middle of Mexico, we were there during this time of the year, and I was just overwhelmed with the cemeteries, the people, the food and stuff. And it was probably 20 years later that I really started recognizing it as a holiday here in the United States. It's a wonderful ritual. And from my speaking with my Hispanic friends, they had no problem on us using this ceremony here. It's part of a worldwide sort of thing, so they have no claims that we're violating the ritual. So we'll be placing leaves and turning on candles while listening to an instrumental rendition of Unforgettable by Nat King Cole. And once you've placed your items, take a seat, and then we'll have a period of silent meditation afterwards. Once everyone's taken, then after we're sitting, after our silent meditation, I'll invite you all to verbally call out the name of either what you wrote or someone who's on your heart that's no longer with us but greatly influenced you. So we'll have our ritual where we'll line up, put our things on while we have the instrumental played, and meditation, and then call out the names. invite you into a minute, silent meditation, prayer, contemplation of what's in your heart. Just sit with it, be with it. You see, the altar that we've built here is a representation of the interconnectedness. We're not only interconnected with every living being, everyone out on the street, everyone here, everyone we meet, we're also interconnected from those who've gone before us. We're not here by our own will, nor by our own strength. We are here because of all those who came before us. We are here because we stand on the shoulders of giants. Giants of strength manifested to us in character, composition, compassion, acceptance, and love. They came before us, but are no longer living with us, but they're here in your heart. We'll start the next ritual by calling out the names of those who have meant so much to us but are no longer here. Be it a family of blood or a family of choice, we'll call out the names of a friend, loved one, parent, child, or pet who has died. And the names are not just those who have died last year or last decade, but those beings who gave us meaning and love. The names will be those whose love we still carry inside of us, even though they're separated. Who's in your heart? I invite you to participate in a responsive reading. It's in the order of service. It's also in the hymnal, number 720. It's called We Remember Them, adapted by one person. So I'll read the dark parts, you'll read the italics. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them.
In the morning, and the chill of winter, we remember them.
In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them.
In the blueness of the sky, and in the warmth of summer, we remember them.
In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
In the beginning of the year, and when we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them.
When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them.
So
long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them.
As a few of you may know, a few years ago, I was actively studying Musar, a Jewish ethical system. Musar is built around a set of midot, particular principles or ethical virtues. That of honor briefly stumped me before I realized I could write a reflection about my mother. I could honor my mother. This reflection evolved into the following minimalist poem entitled My Mother's 61-Year Life in 61 Words. Rapid City, born 1919, 8th, youngest, into one penny print dress, snacks, watercress, pine sap. Chicago, married, girl child, widowed, 1943. Rapid City, married, 1953, girl child, Boy, child, come poet, widowed, 1956. So learn to drive, rent pasture land, distrust folk. Wept at first daughter's wedding. So learn to hold close, second daughter. Muddling through, skirting loneliness, wanting just a little bit more, like all of us. So I had an imperfect mother, and yet she tried to do the best she could. Life is complicated. Love between generations can be complicated. Remembering people, the significant people in your life, it's better to remember them as whole people, virtues and flaws, their struggles and imperfections as part of the whole package. This one might call the grown-up point of view, the mature point of view. Remembrance and understanding are emotionally adjacent in this way, as are also understanding and forgiveness, emotionally adjacent. In this way, any ritual of remembrance points us toward our own growth, toward our own maturity. And today, this community has given me space to honor my mother. Thank you. And Vera, we are so glad to have you back.
Now we extinguish our candle flame. And please join me in reading these words by Lee Hubert, titled More Than One Life. The words are in your order of service. Lighting a candle is somewhat like the beginning of life. If that is true, then perhaps extinguishing a candle is like the ending of life. But death may not be the end of us. We live on in the memories of friends and loved ones. The influence we possess in life works on, moving persons or causes forward. Let us not forget that most candles have more than one life, and so perhaps may we.
Our closing hymn today is number 354. We laugh, we cry. Stand as you're willing or able, and sing with us. We laugh, we cry. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die. We dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need those friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found the need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die. And when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a place to be together. And with our greatest love, we have the gift to believe that is within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found the joy to be together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to world's come truly is an answer.
Death must be a major factor in our understanding of living. Both life and death are aspects of a greater mystery, the mystery of being, the mystery of creation. It is a miracle that you are here. And when you leave this existence, be remembered by the love you gave. Go in peace and have a wonderful week.